She's an entrepreneur with a philanthropic mindset, a top luxury real estate agent, featured in the Atlantan magazine, leads a team of 8 dynamic women who have sold over $1 billion in real estate. When she loves big. I welcome Jenny Doyle.
Hi, I'm Shyann Malone. Welcome to Champagne with Shyann. And this is a story that is very near and dear to my heart. I love interviewing people. And this whole show and series is about real people, real stories, and unfiltered conversation, getting to the nitty gritty of all of it. My guest, Jenny Doyle, is an amazing person on so many levels. I'm so excited to interview you and talk with you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so glad you're a part of this.
Honored to be
several
here.
ways.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So many questions in a good way. You have so many roles in life. You lead an amazing real estate team, probably one of the best in the Southeast, if not number one nationwide. Correct me if I'm wrong. You've sold billions of dollars of real estate.
You just hit $1 billion, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big milestone.
I love that. And it wasn't even what you were destined to be. Talk to us about the background. Well, maybe it is what you're destined to be, but that wasn't what you set out to be. What is the background that you come from, and how did you get here in real estate?
So originally, no, I did not think real estate. You know, with anyone, you're trying to figure it out as you're younger, and, you know, your parents want you to pick something. And I always loved children. So just from my core, kids have always been what comes natural to me. We could be at Alpharetta Downtown Green, and there's people everywhere, and people's kids will come up to me and just cling on me. It's just like it's a second nature type thing to me, especially if there's a kid that has like some format of something like Down syndrome or autism. It's sweet because I think they can just feel that you're a kid person. So it's just, that's my gift. My gift is, if someone said, what's your gift in the world? It's children. So I just thought actually elementary education would work for that. And I loved my first grade teacher. She was amazing. And I thought, you know what, I could do what she did. So I went to UGA and for elementary education. And actually, and we've never talked about this, Shyann, we're friends outside of this. So I feel like we know each other well,
Yes.
You know, and you're asking me questions and things we've never talked about. But I was actually very disappointed in UGA and my experience there and the teachers that they gave me to shadow. I think I've only told this story twice, actually. And I went around and shadowed these different teachers, and I even went to the dean and I said, like, I don't feel good about these teachers that we're shadowing. And it's kind of like, oh, we can't mess with that. So I was really turned off from elementary education due to that. And they were unhappy people for varied reasons. And so I just decided I wasn't going to get right into that, which is sad that was what led me to not go into it. But at the time I was dating a guy that he owned a country music bar there and drank too much. And, you know, we all had fun back in college. So I learned how to run a bar.
Okay.
From helping him. And I had not set out to run a bar by any means. I actually painted, and I wanted to find a space and have a coffee shop and sell my paintings. So I found a spot in Athens, and I was going to have a coffee bar and then sell my paintings. And I met with the coffee bar owner that owned Blue Sky in Athens. And he was like, well, I don't really make any money. So I'm like, oh, crap, what am I going to do? I've already rented this space. So I know how to run a bar. Guess I'm going to run a bar.
Okay.
So I turned into a bar and had my paintings on the wall for sale, but everyone stole them. They actually took my paintings and went out the back fire exit. And even one time,
Like workers?
No, just like patrons, like
Okay.
drunk people, I guess.
Okay.
They took my art, like even the art in the bathroom. I had this one art piece in the bathroom I painted of a girl like reaching for the stars. She's like in a forest and whatever. And it was one of the first things I ever painted. And I went into the bathroom right after it was stolen, and my best friend was there from Maryland bartending with me, and she's like, let's go find it. So we ended up finding it. I don't even know how we found it now that I'm looking back, but it was in this girl's car wrapped in towels in downtown Athens. So we got the police officer, and eventually we found her. I don't even remember how. This is so long ago. I'm 46 now, so this is I was 21. But we find her, and then she tells me that it reminded her of her childhood, and gives me this like heartfelt reason why she loved the art. So I just let her keep it.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, at that point, I'm like, all right,
Okay, that's random. Yeah.
keep the art. But
okay.
needless to say, that was actually when I stopped painting for whatever reason. So I had the bar, and then they tore down the building to make the building a Hyatt hotel.
Okay.
So that was my liver.
Another chapter.
My liver was very thankful for that endeavor ending. But so then after that, I got into teaching. So I thought, oh, I might as well go try and teach. So
How long did you teach?
I taught 1 year. So I taught 4th grade and children with autism. I had 4 children with autism in my class, or on the spectrum, however you want to say it, in Maryland. So I went home where I'm from for a year. Taught 4th grade. I loved it, but I'm type A, OCD, you know all this. And I spent so much on the children. I made $31,000 and I spent 8 plus on the kids. And I was like, okay, for me to do this, how I need to do this, to be right in my soul, I can't support myself. Like, I'll just have to do something else with kids later or go back to it. So, and I learned a ton. I loved it. But
And you did do something with the kids, right? The playgrounds.
the playgrounds is new. So the playgrounds has been in my soul since, God, I don't know, if high school or college. I'm not sure, but I've always, what took me over with the playgrounds aspect of this was when I was told I was going to have 4 kids with autism in my class. That's like oh my gosh, I have to take care of 4 kids with this special, like I look at it as a blessing. Some people will call it a condition, whatever, but I want to be able to teach them to the best of my ability, and make their life better any way I can in this 10-month window that I have them daily. You're with your teacher more than you're with your parents.
Sure.
When you think of how important teachers are, and I need to even love on my teachers more than I do on my kids, but they're with our kids more than us. So this time is in 4th grade is like, that's when the hormones hit. So it's also critical, right? So it was like a double doozy. So I'm psycho and I read like this many books on autism and how to, help them, how they work, how they think. And it's such an interesting thing to where they're all so different and they all adapt different ways. So there's a lot you can learn and it's quite interesting where like the evolutionary, I guess, way that their bodies adapt to it is like they'll even hear noises more heightened than us. So a sensitivity thing, so they can hear fluorescent lights when they're off often, the radio when it's off, like, and I could tell story after story on the hearing things. Or even like you could pinch a child sometimes and they won't feel it as much as they, like someone without being on the spectrum would. So it's very, I learned a ton, but what I learned when I read it was how important that environment is for them and socially. So socially is a hard thing, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of kids that are on the spectrum. So I learned that environment is so important. And then when I was teaching, when I was out on the playground for that 30 minutes, all the teachers would kind of look at it as a break. And I didn't. I looked at it as a time to like understand how they interact and who's making friends and who isn't making friends and who may need more love and all the things, because you know me, I'm an overthinker.
Sure.
And I realized that's when these kids would have their self-esteem hurt, their ego hurt, their feelings hurt, and they would come back in and they would talk to me. And it wasn't even just my class, it was other 4th grade kids would just come in
They're drawn to you.
talk to me about it. And so that 30 minutes, I would see if a kid got their feelings hurt, it could ruin the rest of their whole day. And it can really compile self-esteem wise change in so many ways, and especially at that period in life. So I was like, well, with the books I read and with what I'm seeing, this makes sense. Every playground, I just think I need to redo it. Like that school had like a very desolate playground and we were in a high-end area. So you would imagine like the lines to be repainted on or wouldn't be rusty, or like, it just wasn't a happy playground. There was nothing that said, love each other about the playground. So I just felt in my soul, I need to redo every playground in the whole country. So I just redid the first one and it's like a long God story and I feel like I'm rambling, but so that's great. And so I want to just figure a way to just do every playground in the country.
And making them, reshaping them for really these kids to be able to enjoy them. I think that's the beauty behind that, right? Because that's like the break that the kids get and the recess that they look forward to. And people don't realize something as small as that is so huge for these little elementary kids as well. Talk to me. So let's backtrack. We were teaching for a year.
Yeah. And the other thing too on the schools, one more thing, sorry, just in case. So however this ends up happening, a buddy bench is so important. So 50 to 60% of the population are introverts. And the majority of people making our school system are extroverts, right? So that's a huge change that needs to be made to the school system. I would love to redo the whole public school system, but adding a buddy bench and an empathy squad or a kindness squad is huge. That way those kids can go and sit on that bench, and you add a teacher bench where the teachers sit so that because teachers have nowhere to sit. So they're positioned to see the kids. So if there's this buddy bench and somebody, 50 to 60% of kids are introverted, sits on the bench Well, the kindness squad knows that they go and help that kid play.
Well, that's great.
And so that's part of it all too. So, okay, back to your question. Want to make sure
No, I love that. I think any of these ideas, I think that people are open to it, and however we can help you get them off the ground, to be honest, and help support our elementary. I mean, we talk about it all the time. The kids are our future, and it's such a vulnerable population, and they don't have the biggest voice that we do. So I think I love that you're seeing this and seeing the need for things like that. And even people who aren't, dealing with a disorder, I feel like across the board, girls, boys, everything,
Just love on each other. Just more love. It's that simple. That's always the answer. If you have a problem, the answer is always love. And just
Okay, let's do it.
So,
Cheers
anyway.
to that.
Cheers.
Okay, so talk to me about the year of teaching. What brought you to Atlanta? How did you get to Atlanta? What was the career path there?
So I'd already been in Georgia from UGA. So I
went back home to teach.
Yeah, I went back to teach. I still had a boyfriend at the time, a guy named Andreas. We were together for like 5 years. And so he was still here. So I came back, and we lived all over the little artsy areas. So we lived in like East Atlanta, Grant Park, Cabbagetown. I was down in the Grunge and all the in town, the good food, right? All the things down there. Yeah. So yeah, brought me back, and then got into doing real estate and bartended a lot. I bartended everywhere, which was great. It teaches you amazing
And you
people
meet
skills.
so many people.
You meet so many people. That took off my real estate career. I helped a bunch of the Braves, and from them always being there. And it's great.
And then you created this entire team. Tell me about your team. You've got 8 on your team?
8 on our team. Yep. We have 8. And then they're great. They're my heart. That's the cool thing. And it's such a family. Like going through, I got divorced 3 years ago. And so going through that, I had this family. It was like I had another family that just loved on me. And we just, they're amazing. They're amazing women. I didn't know what to do. I got so busy after COVID. Everybody moved up to North Atlanta. So in COVID, everybody moved to the burbs. And I was like, okay, I have more business than I can say grace over. So what do I do? So I just put an ad out on Facebook, and I prayed about it. And it was like a really hokey ad. It was like, I just want people that love others and care about other people. And you don't even need to know how to do real estate. I can teach you that, because I think the older we get, the more we realize how rare it is to find trustful, like wonderful humans that put others first, with a servant mindset. And so that was really my only goal, was to find people that we could all just trust each other. Like, if anyone was like, they always joke, they'll be like, boss or something to me. I'm like, no, you're my boss. Like I am here for you. Like you do your thing, and I'm here to help you grow and you be better. And we're all one team together. So it's like a big family.
What do you attribute your success in real estate to?
I would say first and foremost, positivity. I think positivity is huge, and it's missing. People want to feel inspired. That's a huge chapter in life. Whether you're buying a home and you need somebody to get out there and grind it out and be a bird dog and find that off-market property and just know they care about you, or you're selling your house because you're at a transition point in life. For so many people, you sell your house because, you've outgrown it. So you're exhausted with babies, and you're like, oh, just help me get a basement, or your spouse passed away, right? Like, or you retired, and that's a new chapter. People are just very emotional when they come with real estate a lot of times. And so I think just loving on people and learning, what would I want every day. I look at my client list and I make a list of what I would want done for me if I was that person. And I think it is that simple. I think that is the best advice I could give in probably any industry, but in real estate, if you just have your client list, you wake up every day, you imagine yourself as that person and what you would want done for you that day, and you do it, then you will succeed.
And I think that is truly what separates you from a lot of the others. It's not just transactional for you. You actually care. You want to get people in their first home, in their last home, or whatever chapter they are in their lives. And I think that people see that in your team as well.
Yeah,
They're grant you for that, for sure. For sure. I love real estate too. It's like a thing. I just love looking at houses and just seeing what's in the market. It's just, I don't know. It's something about mentally for me, knowing that someone, if I have a friend who closed down a house or their dream house, where it's just so fulfilling, because I love that. I can imagine like moving in and buying all the new things and doing this and what it took to get there. I think that's all the work that leads up to that, and getting that final home or first home or whatever milestone it is for people. You talk about people missing, you said positivity and some things, love. Why do you think that is? Why are people lacking that these days? And why are people a little bit more apprehensive to trust and bring that to the table?
Gosh, I think society kind of forces it on us a bit. I was just talking about this when I got my whoa out for your champagne. I was talking to a lady about this, and we're like, what has changed? And I'm like, well, think about it. When we were younger, there were all these like feel good love movies, The Notebook, and there was like, I don't even know, Wedding Crashers, right? You got Vince Vaughn. He's like acting like a crazy little Cracker Jack. Like we had all this fun and this love and this humor. And I feel like now society is kind of obsessed with negativity, and I don't know if it's pressed upon us or what, but even like the amount of friends of mine that, and you could be one, and no offense, but sit around and watch Dateline and serial killers. And like, I feel like a lot of these new shows are dark psychology, which I'll fall into that. I love psychology. Psychology is like my complete jam, but a lot of it is darkness, right? It's not the happy-go-lucky that we grew up with. And so I feel like maybe society is kind of making people uninspired right now. And, I think that needs to change.
I think social media is playing a role.
Well, I guess it depends on your algorithm, right? I mean, really, like, and I've asked that to like multiple people in social media. Can I wipe my algorithm? Can I start over? And they're like, no, you cannot. So I guess you just have to force feed what you're looking at and change it. And if my algorithm gets too depressing, I think I start looking at like, like lions saving puppies and like all those things. Like you can get yourself in a better group. But yeah, I think social media, definitely media. We could go down a hallway with that, and we decided not to talk politics or religion. But I think both politics and religion can go back to needing to be adapted to love and light and loving on each other. Like really, who fully believes in their political party anyway, right? So if we just formulate a team that's just pro-humanity and pro-love, like, I don't know, it seems simple to me, but that's what's missing, right?
Solving all the issues.
Just love each other. It's always the answer. The more you talk through anything, it's just the answer is love. So,
okay, so speaking of love, I feel like you, on the outside where people don't know you, right? I feel like you're one of these people who, I even said it to you, I'm like, I would run into you at events. I'm like, I see you from afar because I think you are badass, right? You are running this amazing company. Like you said, you hit $1 billion last year, 2 beautiful kids, healthy, you've got one of each, husband, and then things take a turn. And you, on paper, aren't looking the same in some ways or another. Marriage, let's say that. You step away from your marriage, you guys get divorced 3 years ago. You doing a phenomenal job of co-parenting and juggling and managing everything. And I think this is very inspiring. I know it's your normal every day, but I think it's important for people who, are maybe in a similar situation or have been or are going through something to hear this, because I think you do such a phenomenal job of keeping the peace, and it could go a lot of different ways. And I feel like back in the day, people did not get along, and now it's like the thing to get along because these kids
would hope.
You
would hope that people put their children over themselves and their egos.
And it's hard, right?
Yeah.
It is. Ego driven or not. But how do you do it?
So that is one thing. I would have never in a million years gone through a divorce if my ex-husband or husband at the time was not an amazing superhuman when it comes to being a dad. So he's an amazing father, and I knew same house apart, he's going to be an amazing father no matter what. So that is beyond all a big blessing. And I know not everybody feels that way. That's kind of my free part-time job right now, is like the city of Milton comes to me, right? Sometimes both sides. I'll meet with the wife and the husband, and I try and actually help them save their marriage and send them to this one amazing counselor. And, but not everybody has that same ability to still work together as a team and still say, hey, the kids are most important, which is super number one, to getting a divorce, I feel like. So that was a big part for me. Travis and I both have a sense of humor. I think the secret sauce to life is sense of humor. So even if we are getting at each other, because even when you're married, you still don't agree on everything, right?
Sure.
We can breathe and throw humor into it. So I think that's a big part of it for the two of us, is just we're both great parents. We can throw humor at it. He has an amazing girlfriend, which she sent the kids home this week with hash brown casserole and some gooey bars. And I was like, man, I don't know how to cook. I should have divorced homeboy a year or so ago. And I'm just kidding.
Maybe you didn't marry her.
It's a joke if you're watching this, Travis. But yeah, she's amazing.
Okay. I love that. So that's important, right? Like having someone else that
super
comes into our lives anyone who's come into your life that you feel worthy of introducing to your kids at any point, or is dating like rough?
You're like, be authentic, tell everybody the truth. And this is probably the stuff people like the best. All right, I will be real about this. Okay, I'll tell you how I feel about love right now, and I'll tell you what I've been through. But I feel now about love, and I've never felt this way in my life. I'm fine by myself. I could actually go through my whole life and not have a partner or another husband or whatever you want to call it. If I don't find somebody that loves how I know how to love. And I've learned this. People just love at the degree of which they're capable. So like we grew up knowing that you would get this like white knight, or you would get this soulmate, right? The like one person that God made for you, and like they're just going to be your end all be all, and everything's going to be perfect. And
like the movies you referred to, though,
like
we used to watch, right?
Maybe not Wedding Crashers, right? But like, yeah, a lot of the old movies. But
Notebook, or yeah,
exactly, or the Notebook. You know, you think there's that one person, and I just feel like that's been a learning lesson for me with friends and with people I date or spouses or whatever. People are going to love at the level that they have the capability. And so for me, I want to find somebody that has the same heart that I do, because when I love, I will give you. When we're good, if I lose respect from you, that there's a change on my turn, right? I close up. I'm a Pisces, whatever. That's how we roll. But if I have respect for you and I have love for you, you get everything. You get everything. You can have every dollar in my bank account. You can have the shirt off my back. I'll go get somebody else's shirt when they're not looking. And I almost dropped an F-bomb, but keep it clean for Shyann Champagne Room, and give it to you. So for me, I'm single until I find somebody that loves the way that I know how to love. But yes, dating, because that's what everybody wants to hear. That's kind of fun stuff. So 3 years I've been single. I've tried to date 3 people. And I actually even paid $19,000 for a dating site. So this is depressing, right? I mean, like, I don't know. I'm like I'm at least like a 5 out of 10, baby. Like,
if they're gonna do all the edits and do all the the dirty work for you, I mean.
Well, I thought they would do the dirty work. Okay. So it's this website. So it popped up on my Instagram, right? It got me like a damn pair of slippers. So I was like, these things pop up, and you're like, you catch me at the right time. If I had a few of these, I might be purchasing your slippers, and I might be joining your dating site. So, and I've never been on like any of those other sites, right? Like all the other ones that people go on, I don't want to do those. But this one said it's 1.6 million people, and they will narrow down for you. And you could do like a premium level where you go through different like analysis points, right? So I call, and me being the type A person I am, I want to know who's analyzing me, who am I getting? I want to get the best person. And I want to get, and they were like, what's your criteria? They're like, we've never heard this before. I was like, okay, this is my criteria. I want somebody like sick smart, like crazy smart, where you're like, how are you even that smart? That doesn't even make sense. And they have to have a big heart. And they were like going through looks. And I'm like, doesn't matter. Fat, bald, crackety teeth, whatever. Looks is not my thing. I need to have chemistry, and you need to have a brain in your head. And snarky humor is kind of my jam.
Okay.
Like if we're getting married, you got to have some snarky humor. So we can date if you don't have snarky humor, but for something long term, you got to have the time to speak. So they did all this interview process. They gave me the top girl, which she was sweet as pie. And then it was terrible both times. They were the nicest guys. They couldn't have been any nicer. But like my thing is, I need a man with self-esteem too, right? You have to have self-esteem. Sure. You have to have a sense of self. And both people that they gave me, I felt like they didn't have self-esteem. And so that was kind of where, for me, it wasn't a go.
Okay.
But that's all right. So then I gave up my third date. She was like, nobody's ever done this. It's not going to make me look good. I'm like, well, I don't know what to do.
You're like, I don't want to. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway.
They should file that back and save that one for you. Like when you find the one that you just know could be that's smarter.
The dating site wasn't good. And then the 3 dating people was like, the first one, it was like, I was a year single. Hadn't been on a date, just missed some man arms around me. And I was like, you know what? That friend is nice. He's not going to hurt me. I'm just going to call him and we're just going to go to dinner. And you know what? Whatever happens, happens. And he's great. But we're just, when you're like, you're not each other's person. And I'm like, what are we doing here? So just friends. And then the second one was an absolute train wreck. That is not even what we're talking about. That's a whole nother personal cocktail. Okay. But don't date the man that says he doesn't take pictures. Let's just say that. And
so this man has a name,
and then
that some might recognize, right?
You're right. Okay. And then the third one, super nice, amazing guy. I just literally felt like God was telling me that we're better off as friends.
Okay.
And we have a greater purpose in life together. So he does anti-human trafficking like I do. That's a big passion of mine.
Sure.
And so, and he's highly intelligent and all the things. And I think we're just suited as friends, and we can, link arms and do that together.
Do you want to find love again?
I mean, that would be great, right? We'd all like that person. And I've had friends that have filled that role, right? I've had friends along the way that, like, even when I didn't have a partner, my friend was like my partner. Cause it's like, your soulmate can be anything, my dog can't be my soulmate. I got a new dog. That thing is not bright, but your friend can be your soulmate. And so I honestly, I don't know. I mean, I would love that. That would be great. But I could even have a best friend that could fill my role. We can be 90 with martinis and laughing. I just, somebody good, soulful, depth.
Have you ever had a best friend that filled that role?
Yeah, for sure. I've had a few friends that have filled that role. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. My one, when I was younger, my best friend Jess now, and I had like a thick as thieves best friend for like a year and a half. And we were like literal soul best friends. So that was when I was single. She filled that role for me. And we were just, I'm honestly, two friends couldn't have been any closer. So, yeah.
But no longer.
No, so Jen, my best friend when I was younger, you grow apart. You have best friends when you're little. They feel like you're just putting on like an old pair of jeans, right? Like, so I don't see Jen, but maybe once a year. But when I see Jen and Heather, my best friends from childhood, that's just easy.
They know you.
You don't even need to talk. Just pop a bottle of wine, give me a couch, give me some sweats. Like that's, so those are always your best friends, right? They know you. They knew you through the grind, right? They knew you through the acne or whatever the hell you went through back when you were little.
You back
I don't think I had acne, but it just sounded like a good fill in there. But yeah, they knew you as you were growing and all the things. So those are, they're still my heart. We go on girls trips. They're trying to plan one now. And then my friend Jess she's Spitfire like me. So Jess and she's like, I have a lot of other friends I love with all my heart that are just like family to me, probably can come up with 5 more girls. Stacy. Stacy's like family. Oh, I got a good crew. Yeah. So I'm blessed with friendships.
Time for refill.
Didn't know we had a buzzer. Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about friendships. We hit on it a little bit, but how important are they to you? I know you talked about soulmates, dating, but I agree. I don't have sisters, so my girlfriends are very important to me. And so when I find a good one, I hold on. You talked about people not. Let's see if I can remember your words after the champagne. People not being able to love like you could love. So I was once telling my hairstylist about a friendship situation, and he's like, you can't expect everyone to be the friend you are. And that is so profound and true. Just because you give and you're this type of friend and this is what your expectation is back doesn't mean other people speak the same language. And I think that's a challenge for a lot of women, especially as you get older and you go into motherhood and you're battling difficulties at work or whatever the case is, having that someone, or maybe it's a few someones that can relate and support you without getting envious, jealous, betrayal, those types of things.
I think I've tried to formulate different friendships with people that come to me to help them grow their businesses. This is kind of a weird one because it's like friendships that spark, like if you were going to talk about like people that disappoint me, I guess it would be like, there's a lot of times that people come to me to grow their business or whatever. It's just kind of a thing that I'm good at with. You can come to me, I can read whatever's happening in your world and teach you. And it's weird. I mean, we've talked about this and whatever. Like I see things, right? So something you could be talking to me about a business and it sounds bizarre, but I'll literally see a thing fly through the air and I'll be like, oh, you're meant to do that. I know you're meant to do that. And they'll go and do it and they were meant to do that. It's kind of wild. So that's something I'm just blessed with, which is a great thing. Just business, like internally, I don't know why it's like a thing. I'm able to help people. So I'll fall in love with people, helping them grow their business. And then they'll just do something disappointing. I don't know. I don't like saying negative things, but like you want me to be real and authentic. And then I'm like, so I feel like I fall in love with the potential of people quite often. Mm-hmm. Like if I were to write a book about my life, you know how they have like the little like insider quote when you open the book, that would be my quote. It would be her greatest attribute and her biggest fault was that she was able to see the potential in people, because it's led me down a lot of wrong roads. But I've also grown, from all that. Like I have such a sense of self. I have such a sense of I have even like more, I would say I've been through a little bit over the last couple of years, and that I don't talk about, right? And it's actually been amazing to teach me my value in myself and to give me the peace of being alone too. So that's a big, cool thing as you get older, right? I've been screwed over by a few business partners. I don't talk about this, period. I don't think you tell your business to other people unless it is advantageous for you. I think there's no reason to tell your business to other people, and definitely not negative things. Nobody wants to sit around and talk about negative, right? This is like, I don't know, if somebody was going to like watch this episode, this would be like the part you blip over. It's not very happy. But
that's life.
But we're being real. And so, yes, I've been like, and I let people do it. So I'm so intuitive. I can see it when you're doing it. I can see it before you're doing it. I can see it before you're about to do it, because I've watched your entire mannerism change. I've watched your voice tone drop, and then I watch what you say, and I know you're full of shit. And I hold it in because that's advantageous to me. I'm not going to blow up on you. So now I'm like, oh, you just showed your, are we allowed to even say that? But like, so, and then I'm like, all right, I know what we're dealing with now. And then it's interesting. And then you watch it progress, and people just do what they do. But I think, again, that also goes back to people are only capable of doing and loving at the level that they love themselves, where they find that solitude and happiness within themselves, the ability to, I don't know, I feel like that's a big life thing for me that I've learned over the last bit. You know, people will love to the level that they can.
Right. Sometimes it's just not enough.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not enough, but you have to be strong enough. And if there was like a message to send the world from this interview, that would be it. Be strong enough to walk away. Don't drop yourself, you know, to the level of that. If somebody's doing you wrong,
don't settle.
Yeah, girl, that's that. What is that? It's like an Asian saying or something. Like, the quicker you get off the wrong train, the quicker it is to get back, right? You stick on that wrong train trying to fix it. You're on a bad train. You're way down the road. It's going to take you a lot longer to get back to where you started before you jumped on that train. So, but it takes us all a long time to get there.
Sure.
Right? So,
and a lot of learning and then building yourself back up.
And that is alchemy. That is alchemy. So if you want to be a happy, positive person, you want longevity, you can eat all the kale you want. You can take all the shots of NAD up your nose. I guarantee you the most important thing for longevity is being an alchemist. If you can look at life and you can say to yourself that every lesson is a blessing, and you can look at that. And I do that all the time. I try and teach my team this too. Like, when something bad happens to me, I say, future me thanks you. And I say that to God. Future me thanks you. I don't know why this is happening, but I'm going to cocktail and carry on. And I'm not going to get mad about it. I'm not going to hate on it. I'm going to know this is for my own good. Because if you look back in retrospect on your entire life and you take the time to do that, every bad becomes a good.
Cocktail and carry on. Cheers to that. That's a good one.
Yeah. I'm like, let's talk about something later. I feel like I'm being all like prophetic.
No, I think
we're angry or something.
You're not at all. It's real.
It is real. But I'm happy. I have a sense of self. I've grown from it all.
You're always happy. I don't know if you ever have a bad day. And I think that we're liking that, right? We try to, and when we're having a bad day, we're having a bad day. Like, go away. I don't have very many, but when I do, it's like a thing that you need to just give me my space. So like, I just take it in, absorb it, and figure out what my next step is. I'm always about having a plan and like, what's next? Because when you get let down by people, because often it's people or situation or circumstance, it's hard sometimes. You just need a minute and take a beat.
Yeah.
So you have an intuition. We all do. Women have intuition. And some people listen to it more than others. But yours is special. Let's talk about that.
Yes. And it's one of those things in life that you hold in because it's weird. So like, I don't know, you hear about like people that are like clairvoyant or psychics. It's creepy. It's a devil. Like, you grow up, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. My dad's mom was like a Baptist Bible beater, and I went to Catholic school, and like all like cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, all that stuff is bad, right?
Taboo.
Yeah. It's bad. And so I kind of grew up and I would like sweep it under the rug. And as a child, it was very odd where like I would know when we were coming up to an accident where somebody was severely injured or dead. So when I was little, it came out as that. And then I would say it. And then lo and behold, we go up a mile or two down the road and there's somebody that had a horrible accident and they've died. So that was kind of my weird child thing. And I think I could sense people really well too. And I'm just a deep feeler. But, and so as an adult, it's come out all different ways. My team will hate this conversation because Nobody likes it. And it's just, I just feel things. I see things, like I said, I'll see things fly through the air. Like, here's a crazy example. So when Travis and I were getting divorced, I said, put all my money in NVIDIA. Nobody knew what NVIDIA was. This is before NVIDIA took off. You wouldn't have known what NVIDIA was. I would wake up every day and I would see the word NVIDIA fly through the air. And I said, just put my money in NVIDIA. And then I even told my financial advisor, put my money in NVIDIA. Nobody even wanted to put my money in NVIDIA. I'm like, all right, fine, we'll put my money in NVIDIA. But I've seen the damn thing fly through the air every day. I could care less about money. NVIDIA went up that year 584%. So it was like, okay, NVIDIA has now overtaken Apple. And I emailed them both and was like, well, look at that. And, whatever. But so yes, I see things like that. BlackRock, before anybody knew what BlackRock was. I saw BlackRock and I felt so sick to my soul. Ooh. And this follows down the political road, I guess, a bit. Not really, it's business. But I knew, and I don't know what's going on with BlackRock, but I promise it ain't good. And I knew from the jump, based on my intuition and my feeling on it. So I'll have things worldly like that. I have that on people real easy. And I think we know that. That's a part of growth too, is being able to trust our body and what our body tells us.
Is it ever off?
And mine is never off. I try and convince myself that it's off. So like what I was saying, the 3 guys I dated, the second one I dated, every time I was around him, I felt nervous, but he's so smart. I was like, no, I don't ever meet anyone this smart. Like, we vibe, you're doing it for me intellectually. But every time I was with him, I felt so nervous. I would have to get hammered. And me, I was like, okay, I'll just, I don't know, I wanted to make it work, but intuitively my body says this person's not for you. And I can look back now and know that. And then on friendships, I can even do that sometimes here, there, everywhere, where some of these people that I tried to help grow their businesses, I do remember when I first met them, I had an off-put vibe. So I think
you chose not to.
We all have that. So here's another thing too. We have 15 senses. We don't have 5 senses. School teaches us we have 5 senses. The normal ones you hear, taste, touch, all that. We actually have mental senses like imagination, memory. Now I'm on last 3 with you, so I'm forgetting all 5, but it's like imagination, memory, reason. There's 5 mentally. And then we all have 5 more senses that are more ethereal, right? So they're the clairs. So there's clairvoyance, when you know ahead. There's clairaudience, I think it is, which is when you actually smell things that aren't real. There's clairaudience, when you can hear things, almost like someone telling you something. There's 5 of those. Man, I could recite this off if we weren't on glass.
You're doing well. I like it.
But there are 15 total that we all have. Okay. And so it's not that weird. You have to, you're either tapped in or you're not tapped in. There's things you can do to be more tapped in and all that. But we're all part of a greater thing.
You felt that you should make a certain decision and you went against it. It's turned bad. Why'd you go against it?
Because you want something to be. I think it goes back to, it's always people-based. I see the potential in people, and that's another thing too. We all meet each other at varied points in our lives. There's a lot of people that we are mirrors for, or they're mirrors for us. So as we go through life, I truly believe, and I try to figure this as I go. I think we have one twin flame. This is my gut. This is my world changes over time and what I think. But I think we have one twin flame, and that is that one person God created that's a mirror image of your soul.
Okay.
That, and I have one. I helped him get through his life when he was down. He helped me get through my life when I was down. It's a bizarre situation, but I also think we have varied soulmates, like a soul family, that we come down here with, like a pod, family, whatever you want to call it, right? And then we have archangels that look over us. That I'm 100% sure of, and I could go down a crazy hallway with that. But we have ancestral family members, everybody that looks over us, and they're by us. We are so not alone. And if you dig down this hallway, you're tapped in or know people in it, we are not alone, and we all end up back together. And I think it's super cool. I'm probably getting a little bit down the spiritual hallway here, but there's actually something called the Akashic Records. And some people are so spiritually tuned in, they can tap into that. And it's the soul contracts that we came here to Earth with. And I think that we do meet these people as we go through life. I can think of like one of the people I tried to date. I think we were mirrors for each other in varied ways. One was a mirror for me, one I was a mirror for him. And so that's why it didn't work out. But you needed to grow and learn and all that, and they'll be better for the next person, And so, I think everything happens for a reason. Done the tiniest little itty bitty thing.
Philanthropy. It's huge for you. I watch you give. Why? What does it do for you? What does it do for others? it's such a top priority. I feel like you above and beyond. And I love it. I love seeing it. I love that you're in a position to do it. Your heart is huge.
Well, thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
I think it's just in my soul, you know? It's not, I don't need the recognition, you know? I don't need people to say, oh, you do that or you do this. And like, I appreciate you saying that. But for me, it's like, it's just an innate thing. Like, it's just in my soul, the whole concept of to whom much is given, much is expected. Like, and maybe that could be a negative about me, right? I may feel like I get something like, I don't deserve this, I need to give it back. I don't know. Like, I'm sure some psychologists could have a freaking field day on that one, but it doesn't matter because I'm happy giving back.
And you're helping so many people.
I'm helping so many people. People always be like, oh, you could do this, you could do that, you could buy this. I'm like, no, I can't. I gave all that away. Like, that's how I'm built. I think God gives it back to you. And I love giving, and I love seeing what that returns. And even if it doesn't work out for me, you know, like some of my side businesses I've done over the last 2 years were just like, I wanted to love on the world. Both these businesses loved on somebody, right? And neither one of them like turned into something, you know, amazing that in my soul I had hope, but it was love. You're giving back love and just being grateful. So that's what
do you want your legacy to be?
You say legacy, I immediately think my children. So, but there's two legacies, right? The legacy of what we leave on earth. I think the lights we spark. I think when we die, my soul is that we're able to see our life and what we did in circles. So we see it like all the positive and how it all came back around and we never knew, right? That's like the invisible string theory and like how we're all so connected, right? So I think like, I hope I get to look back and I have my own legacy in my soul of like all the little tiny things I did, right? That nobody ever knew about, and how I get to see how it like affected like crazy, like somebody in Indonesia or something like that, this and that. And then, oh shit, that girl got that in Indonesia. Hell yeah. Cause I just did that tiny thing. Right. And it's just like the spread of love and light, which is what this future of humanity needs to be, is the spread of love and light, the freaking end, love each other, period. You know, whatever. We don't want to talk about religion, but religion sparks more negativity than anything. If we can just all go back to love, like before Jesus came upon, he was love. Before Gandhi was all about love. Before Buddha was all about love. If you look back on these people that people follow as their end all be all, the origination of it all is love. And so I want my legacy. Now you're making this because I'm a rambler. I'm like the shiny squirrel ADHD girl, but now I'm going back to answer your question. I want my legacy to be about love. My purpose was love and sharing love and spreading love. But my children, I want to grow the parts of them that I love. My daughter has my heart, poor thing, because that takes a while. Like she just loves hard. And then if something happens, it's like a full recovery. I'm old enough now where I'm like, I know how to help her and deal with her. And then my son is just snarky and fire, and I will help him develop his snark and fire for good. And so their two cool components to me are those parts that I see in myself that I can help them early on deal with properly to navigate life and be the strongest people they can. Because inevitably they're gonna have their own kids and yada, 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 right? Unless who knows what, right? We hope the world's still here, and I don't know, whatever way you want to look at life, right? Yeah.
As a mom, what's your biggest fear?
Okay, I do a lot in human trafficking. So that's a deep, dark, awful fear. For me, with child trafficking, the little boys, I'm going to cry. We can't talk about this. The little boys are my heart. So my son is my heart. You really want to know my deepest fear? It's somebody taking my son. It's like the rapid question hour,
well,
like speed
like
dating.
that. Yeah, you're cheering.
I'm like, what's she going to come up with? That's what I said earlier.
Never know. Okay.
I was like, is this going to be like an FBI interrogation, or is this going to be like,
I love this. I could
Like,
talk to you for hours, I feel like. So thank you so much for all the things you've been sharing.
Thank you.
Life is not easy, you know, and we go through the ups and downs. And I love that you, at the end of the day, are one, forthcoming and sharing your story, and two, just still standing on 2 feet. You've been through a lot of things. We all have, but I love that you just keep jumping right back up and just continuing to strive to be the better you and giving people the benefit of the doubt. And at the end of the day, I feel like you do that all the time.
I think we always
should or not. We're all guilty of that. So cheers to that.
Cheers. And I think a big part of life too is if you can think globally, you know, not to get too deep or whatever, but I think globally all the time. Like if I have a bad day, I'm still living in Milton, Georgia, like, you know, with happy little children that I'm able to fill their boundaries.
Not enough people do that. Where anybody in suburban Atlanta or anywhere,
Yeah.
You're in a bubble. You're not even probably turning on the TV, or you're scrolling at Instagram. Like, you're not doing and seeing because you don't want to, right? I mean, we all have our problems as it is. And so I feel like people do that to like mentally block it out. I was forced because I was in news for so long.
Yeah.
So I see the reality. And some of the conversations, I'm like, I gotta walk away. I can't even. Like, you're worried about what color what. And then there are people who are dying.
You see the huge picture. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you watch that? Did you watch news change over time from
Absolutely.
more positive influx to more of a negative tone, or was it always?
When you're working local news, it depends on the city you're in. You know, high crime areas, you're always going to have to report the negatives and things that are happening. I would see people and meet people on their worst day. But when I got to the national stage at HLN, I loved it because we had a variety and we would cover so many different things, from health to sports to news, politics. It was like a little bit of everything.
So I loved HLN. That was like, and that was before there was a left or a right. I feel like everybody loved HLN. And like Robin Meade was the cutest little thing ever. Her and her little voice, her cowboy views.
Yes, I know.
And Bob Van Dillen with his little news report. He was like the guy everybody knew that was just hilarious and authentic. And
It was a blessing to be a part of.
it's a good crew.
Yeah. Okay, let's have some fun with you.
Okay.
I'm going to name a few things, a few words, and you tell me the first word that comes to mind.
Okay.
Can't think of anything within 5 seconds, and you're gonna have to take a sip.
I'm gonna have to sit. This sounds very college.
It's called raise the glass. Let's call it
Like,
that. Yes. Okay.
All right.
Success.
Peace.
Independence.
Chocolate. Is that weird? I'm gonna sit around and eat chocolate a lot because I'm kind of independent. Do nothing but eat chocolate.
Okay. Oh, I would think that would be
Dark chocolate.
guilty pleasure.
Oh, guilty pleasure. Guilty pleasure. I really like when I get out the shower and I twirl 2 Q-tips in my ear. That feels damn good.
Okay.
That's a weird guilty pleasure. I don't know why I thought of that. I was like, what feels good? What in my day am I like? Okay, I'm vibing on that.
Motherhood.
Motherhood, sparkly. Oh, just sparkly. They're good.
It's confidence.
Confidence is a t-shirt. Not give a damn. Just throw on your t-shirt.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're not worried about
okay.
what's
Gotcha.
that.
What? It's okay.
It was a metaphor.
Balance.
Beam? That's all I came up with. That was a magic beam. Balance. I don't know. What's balance? I went with beam. I don't know.
Home.
Trees.
Growth.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Not sure.
Okay. Do you have a superpower, and what is it?
I think it's the ability to see weird things, because I do see things on walls and fly through the air, which is so abnormal. So I think it's seeing the unknown, I guess, as odd as that is.
Love language.
Love language is probably verbalization, like intelligent. If you can feed me information, I'm an information junkie. I wake up at 2:30 in the morning and just learn before the rest of the world.
All right. What is this chapter of your life before we end? What would you call it? If you had a sentence, a word, what is it about for you?
Love. I know it's stupid. We keep love, but I think it's the answer. Yeah, it's just love. Just loving on everything and everyone around me. And loving on myself, right? Everybody can use more self-love to therefore love others better.
Love.
So cheers.
Cheers. Love you. Love
you.
you.